United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone, for that. I'll make that correction on my. No, I saw that when we read the
Yeah,
minutes.
posted, Barbara caught that one. We posted the right one, but.
Yeah.
We can copy it wrong.
No, it was all stacked with the copy. Just ran around and reposted it.
Okay, we'll continue on with roll call this evening, starting on my far left.
Steve Baratta, school board liaison.
Doug Johnston. Christy Morris.
Tara Chase.
Michael Schmidt.
And visiting with us on via Zoom this evening is,
Heather Fram.
there you go, thank you. The first order of business is to local control for purposes of liquor and tobacco license renewals. So we will move into local control. And Barb, do you want to take the lead or?
That's me for the tobacco license renewal, which is gonna start rolling in. First two of we are, or do you want me to read them individually?
Sure.
Or, so you've got, 3 second classes. Agora Spirit LLC, the business of Village. Amina and Rick LLC doing business as Mina Mart. And Penguin LLC doing business as Penguin Market LLC. And then for tobacco, it's the same 3, Agora Spirits LLC doing business with discount coverage. Amina and Rehan LLC doing business as Mina Mart. And Penguin Market LLC doing business with Penguin Market LLC. And all of those entities have the tobacco substitute as well.
Very good. So I would entertain a motion from the board to approve the licenses for the 3 different organizations.
I make a motion that we approve all 3 Agora Spirits, Amina and Greyhound and Penguin Market for all 3 classifications.
I'll second it.
Okay, we do have a motion and seconded to approve the 3 sets of licenses for Agora Spirits LLC doing business as Joe's Discount Beverage, Amina and Rehan LLC doing business as Mina Mart, and Penguin Market LLC doing business as Penguin Market LLC. And that is for the second class license, the tobacco license, and the tobacco substitute. Are there any corrections? Excuse me, any discussion from board members regarding the 3 sets of licenses for the 3 companies? Not seeing any comments from the audience. Not seeing any attempts to speak or hands up. And you solved this licensing renewal online, correct? With the Secretary of State.
Or it all, when the applications come through, I just present them as they paid for, so they paid for it, the town speak first. And it works pretty well. It has its hiccups, but for the most part, it works pretty well. Licensees are notified through that email system set up with the state 150 days in advance. You need to renew, so, to help most of the entities be a little more timely about the renewal, so they're not last minute.
Perfect. Thank you for that effort. There isn't any further discussion or comments. I'll call for the vote, starting on my left with Doug Johnston.
Yay.
Christy Morris says aye. Tara Chase.
Aye.
And Mike Schmidt.
Aye.
And finally, Heather Fram.
Aye.
There we go. That is 5 in the affirmative, and they are so approved.
Can I just mention that there's a definite lag time? Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, there's a lag time in the audio and the video. I don't know if you can do anything, but FYI.
Okay, thank you for that. We'll just pause a little bit between call for the vote or the approval of the motion and call for the vote and give you time to to chime in, and I can see the video is lagging a little bit as well, on our end. Not bad, but a little bit. We already also have a couple of other documents within our local control.
Right, so the next item is a special event permit. It's an application request from Silo Distillery, doing business as Vercurious LLC. And they're requesting approval to hold a tasting event at Vermont Studios on Friday, March 27th. And that's the studio that's located at, 25 minutes. And I did ask that a representative appear either in person or online, so that they can talk about the event and answer any questions. I haven't had any contact other than the board. Like, oh, I see Josie's on.
Yeah.
So there is somebody from Vermont Studios.
Okay, do we have a name for that person that's on the, pardon me?
Josie. I believe I see her on the list. J-O-S-I-E,
Okay,
Michelle.
Josie, can you hear us okay? And if you can, feel free to unmute and discuss your event a little bit so that the board members in the audience has a little more information.
Yeah, so we've asked Silo Distillery to come and do a tasting from 6 to 8 on Friday night. It's pretty straightforward. What else would you like to know?
How's business going?
It was a tough time of year to open. But it seems to be slowly building. We've layered on workshops now, so we have folks coming for machine trainings. Yeah, and the word's getting out about VR, so pretty good. But January, February is a tough time to open, I think. So hopefully it'll pick up.
Okay,
But yeah, so having the tasting too is a way of getting the spaces clearly divided into two sections. The front entrance leads you into the VR space, and then there's a large dividing wall with two doors, and on the other side, that's where we plan to have the tasting. So, she's going to offer Silo Distillery will make a signature cocktail. And that'll be a small tasting of that. And then they can try some of the other liqueurs. And I think they're doing bottle sales as well. Yeah. So I'm not completely sure because it's Mary from Silo Distillery that'll be we're hosting it, but she'll be running the event.
okay. Barb, I know there's always questions in the past about separation from the general public, children, et cetera.
Responsible for that. And Josie's responsible for providing that event space so that it can meet the requirements of the state of Vermont. So the Silo is of course a manufacturer,
Right,
and they're allowed to have so many event permits a year. So it's nice when a manufacturer comes in to consider everything. Taking care of who they serve.
right. Yep, excellent. Okay, is there a motion from the board to approve?
I move that we approve the tasting event on the
27th.
seventh, thank you, at the VR Studios.
Second.
So we do have a motion and seconded to approve the special event permit for Silo Distilleries doing business as Vercurious LLC for March 23rd, which is this Friday. And the hours of that again were
6 to 8.
6 to 8. That's what I was gonna say, but
Here in the Mountain View, so
Yeah.
Mountain View. So, like she said,
okay. Is there any discussion from board members? Comments from the audience? Sounds like the place to be for Friday night, maybe. New
Come in.
business. tasting.
Come in, you're all invited.
Thanks, Josie, for zooming in this evening for explanation. Appreciate that.
Thank you for having me. Okay, bye-bye.
If there isn't any other, we're gonna call for the motion, but I don't see any other questions or attempts to speak, so we will call for the vote, starting on my left with Doug Johnston.
Aye.
Christie Moore says aye. Tara Chase.
Aye.
Mike Schmidt.
Aye.
And Heather Fram.
Aye.
There's an aye. Got it. Thank you all. That's 5 in the affirmative and so approved.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Good luck.
Thanks.
So we're gonna move out of local control now, back in regular session. And the first order of business is to adopt the regular select board meeting minutes of February 23rd, as well as the organizational select board meeting minutes of March 4th. Is there a motion for that?
So moved.
I'll second.
Thank you, members. So we do have a motion and seconded to approve the 2 sets of minutes. Are there any corrections or errors noted from the board members?
Yes.
Yes, Tara.
On page 6 for the February 23rd select board meeting, under item number 7, manager's information, it's just that click or tap here to enter text. Yeah, got that, missed that one.
No extra charge.
And then on page 8, under section G, Mike is misspelled. Just 2 I's instead of 1.
Wow. You're
And then
good.
the last one is for the next meeting on March 4th.
Mhm.
Page 2, section 8, Walter Matone. Matone is spelled incorrectly. That's it. Great job.
The S is right next to the A. Are there other members have any corrections, errors, or admissions? Not seeing any hands up to speak. Those from the audience, any questions from the audience? Hearing, seeing none. We'll call for the approval, starting on my left with the vote. Doug Johnston.
Aye.
Christie Moore says aye. Tara Chase.
Aye.
Mike Schmidt.
Aye.
And Heather Fram.
Aye.
That is 5 in the affirmative. So approved with the 3 updates. Do we have any requested additions to the agenda this evening?
I do want to talk to you about a Axon camera contract for the police department, so we could add that as item 7, please.
Without objection, we'll add it. Moving on to new business, item number 1, updates on properties and municipal action complaints.
So this is not an all-inclusive list, but these are certainly properties that the board has been aware of here with activity most recently. So I just thought we'd just give a general update. Periodically, some of the neighbors or other folks will be calling and asking for information, so we thought this forum was helpful to just keep the board in the loop as to progress on various concerns, especially as they relate to some of these properties, which you'll recognize, I'm sure, as we go through. So the first one is 78 Valley Street. After our most recent police activity at that facility, we did get the building boarded up and secured and posted as well. So it is currently posted. I don't believe at this point that the owner is out on bail. The last I heard, he was not out on bail. So at some point, we want to get in touch with them and him specifically and follow up on some of the items that were in the violation report. At the moment, he's incapacitated, so we can't reach him. We did have an issue last Friday. People were trying to get back into the building, so we had it re-secured, but we'll keep an eye on it so that it doesn't get reoccupied while we're trying to resolve some of the concerns and issues, but at this point, at least that property has been secured. And at the point, we're not aware of anybody actively living and building on it.
Excellent. Any questions on 78 Valley? Mike?
I've had some citizens concerned about the debris at the back of the property, especially relating to potential contamination of the creek. Is there anything that we can do to mitigate that concern or at least address it?
I'll see if Paul and I can take a walk around and see if there's something we can post.
Okay.
If it's something that we can show who's the owner, we can at least get it posted for removal.
Okay, thank you.
We'll go from there.
Other questions? 78 Valley. Heather, I've lost track of your Hollywood Square.
Hello. Usually I'll go back when I speak.
Okay, there you go, yeah. Okay, any concerns from the audience on 78 Valley? Or those on participating via Zoom? If not, that's the update as we know it tonight. And we'll move on to 516 Spencer Hollow Road.
So, Chief Spagner did post with the property owner, a letter of a violation, the camper that was on the property. They have been given 30 days since it's unregistered to be removed. So we are hopeful that that was actually posted on the 13th of March. So we will keep an eye on that as we approach that 30-day mark. If we don't have compliance, we'll follow up with removal and probably end up billing the owner for the cost of that removal. So that one's just on the calendar, and we're hopeful that we're always hopeful for compliance, but if there isn't compliance, then we'll follow up with some additional actions to try to resolve that problem.
Questions on 516 Spencer Hollow Road from the board? Not seeing or hearing any. We can move on. Heather?
Nope, I didn't ask.
Okay. Moving on to 10 to 12 Central.
So there has been some debris that has been removed from the outside of the property. Specifically, one of the items that we were, the camper that is now gone. There's some additional garbage that was on the outside. Some of it was removed as late as this afternoon. Additional removals. So we seem to be getting some cooperation here to get at least the exterior items taken off the property. And the owner did say that they're going to work with Alba, to try to get a dumpster so that they can get the rest of the materials loaded and off the property. We had some pricing that if we had to go and do it, because there's tires and there's other trash and other items there, it was probably gonna be about $5,000 to get all of that cleaned up. So we're still working with the owner. It's been slow going, but we are seeing some compliance. And so again, I think we'll continue to work and hopefully see this issue get cleaned up, at least from the exterior. There's a host of interior problems that are also being addressed. And we're gonna schedule a follow-up walkthrough to see where those are and where that stands as well. So we'll give you an update once we get back in the property with the Division of Fire Safety and Paul, and see exactly what's going on inside as well. So we are seeing, like I said, we're seeing some movement, which is a positive sign, but there's still more work to be done there as well.
Have we had a conversation about a time frame for completion?
Both this week, some of it was actually frozen. Some of the materials have been outside through the winter. So with the weather improving, we can have this all done within the next week to 10 days.
And are we looking to take action? If it's not, will we clean it up or?
If it's not cleaned up at that point, we have talked with the owner about following up and then putting a lien for the cost of the municipal cleanup, so. At this point, we're seeing some cooperations, we want to continue with that. As opposed to us doing the work and we'll see if and when we ever get election on that next.
Okay, other questions from board members on 10 to 12 Central? Comments from the audience?
Yeah, Christie,
I get you. Hang on, who's that speaking?
me, Tim Wallace.
I didn't catch the last name. Tim
Wallace, I think.
Tim Wallace. Yeah, Tim, hang on a second. I've got a couple of questions in the room and then we'll get right
Okay.
back to you.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. Don't go away. Garrett, if I can, identify yourself for the record, of course.
Garrett Richardson, 53 Bleedy Hill, you're in town. I may sit and talk.
Oh, sure.
Couple of questions, starting out with, I see Mr. Humphrey here today, so that answers one question. I am, good to hear there's been some of the trash removed. I'm surprised that we're saying it's going to take another 7 to 10 days. The letter went out on February 6th. March 6th was the 30-day deadline. Today is the 23rd, 17 days later. Regarding the interior, the surge that was in there, that was in the basement, the leaking roof, water. Has there been in the 17 days, since the 30-day expiration date, another inspection been to the interior to see if those items have been cleaned up and taken care of, addressed?
I think I heard the town manager say that there will be a follow-up visit.
Yes.
Okay, so your question is that, no,
To this date, no, as of tonight, no.
okay. You heard me say, I think the meeting or two ago, I'm concerned about the delays that we're seeing. But, so I'm gonna stop, with that part, just amazed that it's been 17 days since, and there's been no, re-inspection and, should have been, addressed at this meeting as either then it's been completed, cleaned up, or it does not, and what time frame we're gonna give to get that portion. Now, it's surprising to hear, I'm pleased to hear that they're addressing the exterior. Prior to, the word I received from the committee was, there's not much we can do about the exterior. We can really go at it on the building. And I says, oh, great. Evidently, that has not been done. 17 days later, no new inspection has been made on the interior. I don't know what the building inspector or the health inspector, why we've not heard anything of that. And in the address, the letter that was sent out, the initially 30-day, I noted that the items addressed, a lot of pages, you have them and I have them. Items addressed that needed to be addressed. And one of them, or two of them, is the sewer roof. I think there was some comment about the exterior, the interior, framing, support, etc. That there was concern. I guess there's not much that I can add other than, again, delay, and completions that were requested and quote. There they are. The sewer and the water. Building inspection. That was done, I guess, but we haven't had an update on that. So there was some work on the replacement, reinforcement, interior work. I don't hear any comment that that has been done. I hear the exterior, which I'm pleased, that's great. The interior was not, I don't hear has been addressed. We'll wait for another 2 weeks and see what transpires between now and that date. Thank you.
I think to be realistic, when we're dealing with these problem properties, we're not measuring our progress in days or weeks. In many cases, it's months. And it's because, again, we're relying on other agencies and other responsible parties. And so our goal is always compliance. And I think we're always attempting to reach compliance, and, you know, there are ways that we can get there. But if the goal is expediency, then we're gonna fail, because these are not good projects. They take time. I know it's disappointing to the neighbors to hear these things, but I want to set a reasonable expectation that it's not because of lack of concern or lack of effort. It's simply the way these processes play out. And again, you know, most of the time we're working towards compliance, and we are seeing some positive movements in that respect. And so while it might not please everyone in terms of how much time it's taking, I think we are seeing things move in a positive direction. And I'd like to hopefully continue on that path. And with the interior and exterior work, understanding again the frustrations of the neighbors and some of the concerns, but I just want to be realistic with the board about how this process works.
Understood, and I'd also like to support that by saying the letter, the 30 days expired on March 8th. 28 days in February +2. We haven't had a select board meeting from between then and tonight. We're getting the updates tonight. We're hearing from the town manager what the next steps are, and we're taking action to move forward. Those do not coincide with an expiration date of a notice. We have a governing body that has to act and take the next steps, and that's what we're doing tonight.
Hey, Christie? It's me,
Is
Tim.
that Tim again?
Yeah,
Yeah, hang on, I'll call Tim when I'm ready.
all righty.
Mr. Richard asked a number of the questions I already had, so I'm good.
Robin, you're good?
Yep, thank you.
Okay, Tim, go ahead.
Yeah, what about the camper, the other camper that's sitting out in the backyard? That's been there for years.
I know one's been removed from the.
Been there
on
2 to
the
3
other
years.
item. Right.
Was the other one was found to be, they're not registered, but I've found
There was
not,
an owner, and the owner did take it.
the owner removed it.
This was took people more time.
Yeah, there is another one in the backyard.
And we're next
Oh,
door.
we recognize, we know that.
Yep.
We know that, Tim.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right.
Any other question? Garrett? Dan, go ahead and give me your name for the record, please.
Dan Keebler. I don't have a particular interest in this particular place, but I've been listening to some of these things you on, and my impression is that the complaints have to do with the behavior of the residents, but you seem to be going after the owner or landowner, and I'm wondering how that connects. Is the landowner responsible for the behavior of the residents?
I think that's a larger problem, and that's a problem that we've been starting to go down the road on. We have quite a few of these properties where we have people that are in various types of supervisory, either probation, supervision, they're court ordered under some sort of court ordered, conditions. Or in some cases, these folks are completely out of the probation system. They're on parole. There's gaps, obviously, in this process. So we're working through some of the administrative people to find out what can be done better here with some of these folks. Not all of them are probation or parole, but quite a few. And so that's an area that we think we can work to improve. And ultimately, part of our agreement with the prison deals with some of this stuff as well. And we've talked about opening up negotiations to look at some of the things that are potentially impactful through that whole document, to see if we can try and create less of these opportunities where these problems are occurring in town. So I think there's actions taking place on different levels, and this is gonna take a little bit more time to solve, because obviously we've had this prison agreement now for 25 years. So anything that we do is gonna take a little bit of time to sort out, and to actually then specifically ask what we're trying to accomplish. There are some other types of facilities that are in the area that seem to handle this in a better manner. And so we're gonna look at some of those and make some recommendations specifically about what improvements might be made, so that some of these folks don't walk down the hill and then are just absorbed into the community and not ready for, being productive and basically functioning in our community. So that's a difficult challenge, and it's something that, we're gonna work through. We've got, like I said, 3 different organizations that are all part of this discussion. And they all have different reporting relationships, and they all have different oversight and different responsibilities. So it's gonna take some time to work through this, but I think the goal is to try to come up with a more workable model for our community, so we're not seeing these impacts and having to go through these, long process to try to, resolve these problems in individual neighborhoods, which are really impactful. So we're well aware of it, we're working on it, and we hope to have something positive that we can talk about that we think might help get into the root of this problem.
Is Chief Stagner got his hand up?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. You got it right there. Thanks for that, Scott. Chief Stagner, you got your hand up. You want to speak?
Yeah, just to elaborate a little bit on that, only because the level of calls and the call volume has greatly increased since the actions that we've been taking have been so public. Whether you're a landlord of any property or the owner of any property, the owner is 100% responsible for the actions of any tenant. No matter what they do on the property, the landlord is the only one that we can not go after, but enforce the ordinances and rules and regulations. Unfortunately, that's the way it is in Vermont. And there's a due process that takes time for that to happen. And I really would like people to remember, as the calls continue to come in because of our recent activity in this subject, that the idea isn't to punish anybody. The idea is to make a change. We want to make things better. Writing civil tickets, punishing people isn't going to change anything. It's just going to prolong the issue. What we want to do is make an effective change. And sometimes it just requires education to the property owners that these ordinances and rules and laws exist, because many times they just don't know. That being said, there are problem areas that we need to address more aggressively in town than others. That's just the point that I want to make is, unfortunately, it is the property owner who has to take responsibility for whatever is happening on the property they own. That's all.
Thanks. So to summarize this piece of property anyway, from our end, I heard the town manager say that he's hoping in cooperation, this will be cleaned up in 7 to 10 days on the exterior.
Yes.
And our next board meeting is April 13th, which is 21 days from tonight. Will something come back to us for action, or are we confident we can take some action before then? I just want to purse that out.
We'll have done. I'm hopeful that we'll have been in the building by then. And we'll have a more up-to-date schedule on answers on some of the other interior questions, as well as, more compliance with the exterior and the waste container outside as well, so that this doesn't just repopulate. So,
So I expect we'll get a report back on the 13th.
yes.
Very good. Any other questions regarding 10 to 12 Central? Central?
Yeah.
Central.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Go ahead.
that report we heard was terrific. The owner of the land, or the manager, is required to take care of the situation as far as activities that are happening on the property. I think that's what I'm trying to indicate, that was a wonderful, wonderful statement. And I think we should hold to that.
It's a great statement.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there's a process for that, and it can be months to go to court to force somebody to do something. Sorry, that's just it's out of our control.
I'll sit down.
I appreciate that.
Sorry that I do not believe you.
Very good. Moving on to 482 Cedars Brook Road.
So, Stephen Coot and I have been working on the previous owners had been deceased, so based on Steve's interpretation of how this could proceed, there is nobody currently from his initial read-through on the lease that's in the record for ownership. So we are trying to contact anybody that might be still in the family that might have some ownership interest, to at least, we have to make some effort to do that. And if there is nobody, then the next step would be to prepare potentially a quitclaim deed, and people file that action. And then we'll have ownership interest at that. There's a tenant on the property. Tenant apparently has been paying his taxes, so that's why it has not been on tax sales. But at this point, we have not been able to find anyone that's in the family anyway, that's potentially part of the probate. So we have been in touch with the neighbors. The neighbors are still very active and interested in what's happening here. And we're just trying to get any information we can about who might be still alive or available, so we can make some effort to contact them. And if we can't find them, then the next step, like I said, is he'll file something with court, and we'll go through that process. So we'll keep the board in the loop.
Keep us in the loop. Yeah, just, I know you probably can't answer this. Any idea on the time frame for that, or is there a projection of?
I spoke to Steve this afternoon, and since it's been more than 7 years since the owners have been deceased, the civil process is fairly quick. So if we don't find somebody here before the next meeting, I'll probably have him start the process to do the administrative probate, and we'll update you at the next meeting.
Perfect.
Yep.
Thank you. Any questions from the board on 482 Cedars Brook Road beyond what was explained? I see a hand up and somebody's unmuted. Go ahead.
It's Nicole, the neighbor, so I don't know if you're ready to hear from me right now.
Sure, if the floor is yours if you want it.
Okay, I just I heard what you said, and my only question is thinking about, my concern is with the spring coming. Typically, we've had concerns with more activity, concern with like drug activity in the area, and there's garbage compiled in the the front of the property. So I'm just wondering, if we get to the point where we're noticing more activity, are there steps that we can take at that point?
We don't have an owner that we can force file an action against, right? Which is what we were talking about previously with some of these other properties. At least if you have a clear, somebody who's at least has a responsibility, then we can follow up with them. Right now, we just have a tenant. And the tenant, again, we don't have any way of knowing what the relationship is or why that, how long they've been there, but really it's not enforceable against the tenant. It has to be the owner. Which is why we'll have to go through this probate process.
Correct, to try to get ownership,
Correct.
and then we can address it.
And then it will be the town's possibility. Yes.
Did you hear that, Nicole?
Yes, thank you. For me, it's more just the big safety issues. And in which case, we would, if we needed to call for support, we would do that.
If it's criminal activity, I believe that would be
It'll be
the police.
Yes.
If it's health concerns, I know previously you mentioned rubbish and sewage, I believe. That would be the health officer could perhaps take another look, but like the town manager mentioned, without having an owner, who's going to accept responsibility, even if we ticketed or enforced ordinances? And that's why it's in our interest to try to gain control of this building, if possible.
Thank you.
But thank you for coming on this evening and bringing this to our attention. Thank you. If there aren't any other questions regarding any of these properties, I'm going to move on. Okay, we'll move on. Item number 2, act on the event permit application for Springfield on the Move.
So Springfield has a variety of different event dates here. And they've been doing this in the past. We will get their insurance information prior to issuing the actual permit itself. Have asked for 6 specific dates through the spring and into the fall of 2026.
This is for the outdoor permits at the park. Yeah, okay. 2, 3, 4, 5. They're looking for 6 this year. Great. Is there a motion from any of the board members to get this on the table? Springfield on the Move for the summer events at on the downtown Main Street Park, where the events established. This is Denver, yeah, we need to approve this event, yeah.
So moved.
I'll second it.
Thank you, members. We do have a motion and seconded to approve the 5 events for the park on Main Street for May 22nd, June 26th, July 24th, August 28th, September 25th, and October 23rd. Behind another numbers. Is there any discussion from board members on?
I have a question. Is there a description of the events?
They don't have a specific description. They just have time, 5 to 8. They have an estimate on participants. Beyond that, they don't have specific listings for individual event dates, Mike, so I'm not sure what they're planning on each day.
Are they like concerts, maybe?
They are.
Usually have.
Yeah. But I don't know what kind of music or.
They are.
Yep, there's 6. They've already lined up. We have Springfield on the Move already has the bands picked out for each night. It'll be Allie T's playing, John Sullivan Band, the Defrosters, Shauna Stack Band, the Illusions, and the Black River Band. So they've already picked all of those dates out. They've already had commitments. And so it'll be like it has been the last couple of years, but it'll be the fourth Friday.
Perfect. Thank you for that information.
Yes.
Other discussion from board members? Thanks. That was a good question. Comments from the audience? Including Zoom participants? Not seeing any attempt to speak or hands up. We'll call for the vote. Starting on my left, Doug Johnson.
Aye.
Christy Moore says aye. Tara Chase
Aye.
and Mike Schmidt
Aye.
and Heather Fram.
Hi.
That is 5 in the affirmative and so approved. Excellent. Item number 3 is act on appointment.
So-
And we've been provided a list.
There is a list, one error on there, the listers appointments, I had pulled that from previous minutes and Barbara informed me that they had been discontinued, so if you could pull that item off of your agenda, just cross that through. The rest of these are, basically what the previous appointments were for members who are still on, and then whether folks wanted to change or they're vacant. So those are something for the board's consideration.
Which one did you say was pulled off, Scott? Sorry.
The 1-year listers appointments for Dave Coleman and Terry Perkins.
Oh, thanks.
Yes.
No, we got a few vacant, don't we? Okay, is there a motion from board members well, we can approve these, Doug, you're new. I don't know if you have any interest in any of these that are.
I'd like to continue, Mr. Chair, on the CPC committee, because I've been involved in that right from the beginning.
Long-term capital planning?
Yep.
Without objection? You want to sign up for another 2 or 3 others?
Well, let's see. Probably the ordinance committee.
If you wanna take that?
Yeah, I'll take that.
Unless somebody else wants the ordinance committee?
No.
Doug is
Thank you.
offered.
Thanks, Doug.
Okay, and for the record, I guess I'll just peruse down through them, so. We have for the planning commission, a liaison is Mike Schmidt. Ordinance committee will be Doug Johnston. Airport commission, Mike Schmidt. Long-term capital planning committee is Heather Fram and Doug Johnston. SRDC is Christy Morris. Springfield School Board is Tara Chase. DRB is open currently. Springfield on the Move is Tara Chase. Trails and Rural Economy is Christy Morris. The DEI committee is currently vacant, as well as the Conservation Committee.
Well, I'm sorry, what's DEI?
Inclusion.
Inclusion.
Diversity.
Yeah.
Inclusion.
Yes.
Chamber of Commerce is the town manager ex officio. Mount Scottney Regional Commission is Walter Martone, that's by appointment, or it's what we're doing. And the Solid Waste District is town manager and alternate is Matt Priestley. Library trustees 1 year is Gitu Melwani. Town agent is Steve Ancuda, and the constable is Chief Paul Stagg. Unless somebody has another recommendation, I'd entertain a motion to accept those appointments.
I'm willing to sit on the DRB. I'm on the planning commission, so I'm willing to do the crossover.
Thanks, Mike. Okay, so with that addition, is there a motion by the board members to approve the appointments.
I'll make the motion to approve the appointments.
I'll second.
Remember, you're on various committees, but you only get one vote. Okay, is there any discussion from board members regarding the appointments? Comments from the audience? Hearing, seeing none, I'll call for the vote, starting on my left with Doug Johnston.
Aye.
Christy Moore says aye. Tara Chase.
Aye.
Mike Schmidt.
Aye.
And Heather Fram.
Aye.
That is 5 in the affirmative and so approved. Thank you all members for, and the town manager for, and others. There's some that are not town manager or board members. Well, that's great. Thanks all. Item number 4, act on an event permit, Springfield Alumni Association.
So the alumni has asked for their annual parade for June 20th. Starts at 9 a.m. until roughly 12:30. Again, they'll assemble on Clinton Street and then they'll ultimately end at the Riverside Middle School. We'll also have to get a certificate of insurance prior to the permit being allocated, but this is an annual event, so everybody is certainly aware of how the event functions.
Is there a motion from the board members
I
to,
move that we accept the approving the Alumni Day Parade.
I'll second.
Go ahead, Doug.
we do have a motion and seconded to approve the Springfield Alumni Association's parade for June 20th from 9 a.m. to 12:30 approximately, from Clinton Street up to Riverside School. Any other discussion from board members?
I think the theme of game shows sounds kind of fun this year for different float options. That's all.
Duly noted.
Yes.
You have a particular game?
You know, what I'm thinking of, there's a couple of them. I'm not sure which one I really want.
Alrighty.
What year did you graduate?
I didn't graduate from Springfield.
Summer construction projects. We just want to keep the alumni, you know this, we've had a call. You want to keep them in the loop so that they are aware. Excellent. Any discussion or comments from the audience? Including Zoom participants? Hearing, seeing none. Call for the vote, starting on my left. Doug Johnston.
Aye.
Christy Moore says aye. Tara Chase.
Aye.
Mike Schmidt.
Aye.
And Heather Fram.
Aye.
That is 5 in the affirmative, and we'd have an alumni parade. Typically, board members are asked to participate in that. Just up, we have a hand.
Will you be on that too?
What's my line? Dating myself.
Item number 5, approval of an MOU for Springfield on the Move office space.
So the folks in the building are relocating to River Street, but they would like to leave some of their records and some materials behind. This would be a 1-year agreement with an opportunity for extensions. One if and when other decisions are made about either the building or their future plans. So it's really just sort of a space holder item. We don't particularly have any programming need for that space, so it won't be of any particular impact on us. But since it was gonna be something that was gonna be in the building and not, change in our relationship, I thought it was important enough just to bring to the board and make sure that everybody was on board before we signed the MOU.
Don't think we need to vote on it.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, but I can understand if the town manager prefers that, so.
Just the authorization to sign it, because we are leaving materials in our building.
Okay.
And then, there's no considerations in terms of money or anything.
Correct.
Not asking
Yeah.
For that input.
So we would entertain a motion for the town manager to sign the MOU with Springfield on the Move to maintain some storage space in town hall.
I'll move. Request the town manager to sign the MOU for storage space for Springfield on the Move for a 1-year period at this point in time.
I'll second.
Thank you, members. We do have a motion and seconded to authorize the town manager to sign the MOU with Springfield on the Move, otherwise known as SOM, for storage space within town hall for a period of time designated by contract. Any other discussion? Comments from the audience? Hearing, seeing none, call for the vote. Starting on my left, Doug Johnson.
Aye.
Christie Moore says aye. Howard Chase.
Aye.
Mike Schmidt.
Aye.
Heather Fran.
I,
That is 5 in the affirmative. Do you need a witness to sign that or go?
Thank you.
Item number 6, approval of application for state equipment fund loan in ordering snow vehicles.
So we had talked about this back in February, and I'm bringing it now back to your agenda for the application specifically to the state equipment loan funds. So what that does is it's a 2% rate at a 5-year loan, and you can get up to 150,000 or 50% of the cost of what the actual equipment is, up to 150,000. So this will give us an opportunity, because of the amount of time it takes to get these vehicles actually ordered and then into our inventory. We don't try to move ahead. What'll happen is we'll miss the actual snow season and we won't get these vehicles until after this time next year, which doesn't do us a heck of a lot of good for snow season for next year. And if we're having another snowy winter like we had this year, we've certainly put a lot of wear and tear on the equipment with the amount of storms and just general, we had to go out and actually plow. So this will give us a little bit of some relief so that we don't have out of service time. Unfortunately, we don't have any spare equipment. So when a plow or a truck is out of service, we have to extend routes. It tends to get people upset because now the longer it takes us to get around on the route, things aren't cleaned up as quickly. It can get icy. Conditions change pretty quickly during storms, and then people are upset. So the more reliable our equipment is for snow fighting, the better certainly we can attack these storms. It also gives us more opportunities to use magnesium chloride. So I'd ask Ben to come, because we are looking at, we obviously had some salt related issues this year. We're concerned that those might continue into future years. There seems to be some consolidation going on in the industry. We're not sure what that's going to mean for us, but it might make it much more difficult to get the bulk salt that we need, and certainly get it delivered during the times that we need it. So what'll typically happen is, these are quantities contracts. We ask for a certain amount of estimated quantity. We get some deliveries in the summer, and that sort of fills up the salt bins. But this year, they weren't able to give us deliveries through the regular course of the winter, except in very, very small quantities. So in a lot of cases, Ben was stretching salt and trying to use sand and other materials on hills and other places. And it's obviously, every storm is different, but some people were not as happy with some of the snow removal just because we didn't have the inventory to put down as much material as we would have liked. So with these treatment systems, the actual salt itself actually is more effective to lower temperatures. And they have found that it reduces your overall salt usage by about 30%. So you can actually save money. So you can actually get a more effective product, save money. And so we're hopeful that, moving us forward, we've already got some systems, sliding systems. This will broaden the amount of inventory we have available to us to do those pre-treatments and to get materials down on the hills and some of the more troubled spots. And hopefully we'll see some improvements in our snow operations just based on those factors alone. So with that is sort of the background. That's why we wanted to bring this to your attention and try to move this forward now so you can get lock in pricing as well as get the vehicles themselves on order. Get them here so that they're outfitted and ready to use for next year's snow season. And then that puts us in line for, I think they do these the equipment loan fund twice a year. I think they typically do them in April, then again in usually October. So this would put us in line to put our application in for the April consideration as well.
Right, and this is for 2 vehicles, correct?
One would be a regular truck, one would be a pickup truck. Yeah. And as you can see with some of the attached materials, the cost for our trucks are going up significantly. And it's not all tariff related. Some is tariff related, but some of it's just they're raising prices on some of these vehicles. And it's gonna be challenging for us to keep our fleet. You know, as much as we would love to be able to keep on our schedule, it's gonna put us under some pressure here if these prices continue rising the way they are.
Excellent. Ben, before we put this on the table, is there any, we want to offer any other information regarding the efforts you've had this year, perhaps, in the equipment and what these trucks are going to do for us?
I think, ultimately, a lot of towns around, got this very similar situations. Whether it's staffing shortages, keeping equipment longer than they should have, and then compound that with the salt shortage that we've had this year. Even at the state level, there's been issues. So yeah, doing everything we can to try and stay ahead of it at this point is probably the most important thing. We've got some trucks that they're pretty good tires. Fortunately, they've just been kept too long. The maintenance costs add up. So on and so on. So, looking forward, the part that the manager mentioned that, you know, it's not like, you know, if one of us wants to go to buy a new vehicle, we just go to the dealership, pick one off the lot, drive away with it. When it comes to municipal equipment, it's a process. It's the chassis, it's the plows, the body, and your manufacturers are 18 to 24 months out on building.
Mm-hmm.
And then add a year to that to build the chassis. So, and in that time, prices continue to go up. So we just fall further and further behind if we don't do something instead. The dump truck in particular, that would be outfitted with a free wet system on the truck to apply magnesium chloride as the salt is coming out. There again, it's cost savings in the long run. The 30% figure I believe is accurate. As far as the salt prices are gonna go up too. You know, we locked in just under $100 in the fall. And when it got short, there were towns going as far as $200 a ton. That's this year. I'd be willing to bet you when contracts come out in the fall, you're gonna be at least $130, $140 a ton. So whatever we can do to alter what we're doing and how we're doing it to save us is gonna be very helpful.
Thanks for that, by the way. I know that, yeah, there's other towns and with the state, are going through similar issues. And I've heard $120 a ton from somebody that was conservative saying, I bet it's gonna be at least that. So 100, 120, 130, 140, we don't know yet. But they were saying the same thing.
It's a guess.
Yeah. Okay, you've heard an explanation of the information. I wanted to do that this evening before we put it on the table, just so you'd have that background. Is there any of the members that would like to make a motion for this? Oh, well, we'll get this on the table first. Is there a member that would like to make the motion and another one to second it?
Yes, I move that we sign the loan form for the low interest loan so that we don't run out of snow equipment.
Second.
So it's
And that is, it's $150,000 loan from the state revolving loan fund or equipment loan fund,
Yes.
for a 5-year payback. Is there any discussion from board members? My favorite question, Scott, maybe you haven't been exposed to this yet, is, where's the money come from? Is it within our current capital plan?
Yeah, we'll float some money, and then we did budget for this for July 1, so getting the invoices in now, we won't get this equipment until much later in the summer, so we'll have money in the budget,
Sure,
so.
yeah.
And the loan fund is just gonna give us flexibility. So it made sense to do that,
Very good.
2%.
Doug?
I got some just clarification, because I'm saying it's 5 years for 150,000 each year, but it's just, 150,000.
The max loan I can get is 150,000.
Okay.
2% rate on that 150,000.
Okay, well, the way it wasn't clear for me in my mind, so I want to get that clear.
Yep.
And I do have some questions on Ben when anybody's ready. Okay, does that truck, that's a 10-wheeler, correct? No, that isn't, just,
This is a single axle truck.
okay. And that includes the price that you got, does that include the dump body also? Or is that separate price on top of the?
The price for the truck itself.
Yeah, cause there was 2 sheets and one was, it had the description of the dump body on it. It didn't have any price on it.
That's total price.
That is total, okay.
That's plow body wing, pre-wet system that's fully ready to go.
Okay.
So that's a 6-wheel dump?
Yes, sir.
Those prices have come up.
Oh, yeah.
They have, I mean, adding the pre-wet system adds to the price. That's just inherent. I believe in that particular spec, you'll also see, I think there's a $4,000 or $5,000 tariff markup. And then just the inflation. I've been doing this kind of work since 2009. Trust me, that price makes me swallow hard compared to what I used to see. Yeah, this unfortunately is the world we're in now.
Well, we're seeing it with everything, you know, the fire units, police, patrol cars, highway trucks, they're not what they used to be, that's for sure. Other questions?
No, I think that's it, because I thought it might have been the 10-wheeler you're looking for.
Nope,
No,
that was the same one.
okay, no, I guess, and because all my other questions pertain to the 10-wheeler, so. Okay. No, I'm all set on that.
If you wanna ask them now, you'll be prepared for next time.
I was gonna say.
Way.
Oh, no, I did, I was just wondering, because I know they had talked about a 10-wheeler in previous select board meetings.
So we do have one on the order.
You got the one on order.
That was approved last.
Right.
October timeframe.
Oh, but I guess it's probably too late to make any changes if you had to, huh?
Not entirely,
Well, I just was wondering, I had someone give me a call and asked if there was a, what's it called, a pusher axle coming with that, or is that something, cause I was told that before the 8 wheels, if there's enough space to put it in later on, when you traded it in, if the dealership wanted to put that in, that's worth more on trade-in. That way, when you go to trade that in.
that would be an option if you were to remove some of the plow equipment, like the spinner, things like that, you would be able to add a pusher axle based on the wheelbase.
Okay.
But actually, whether
the trade-in value comes with these trucks, especially with the 10-wheeler, are states and municipalities that contract a lot of their plowing. So you'll have contractors that will buy a former municipal truck, then contract with the state of New Hampshire to run it. And so the truck will already be set up for them to do that.
Yeah, I know they were concerned, or I was told that a lot of the paving companies and stuff like that are, they're not getting hired unless they have that pusher axle in front. And the regular 10-wheelers, they just won't hire anymore because they can carry more of a load.
Well, like I said, in that event, remove the spinner. It wouldn't be hard with that wheelbase to add a pusher axle.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Any other discussion from board members regarding the snow equipment purchase and in the loan fund from the state equipment loan fund? Comments from the audience?
Since I don't have a packet, can I dare ask what the price for this?
Oh.
It's 300,000.
Yeah.
It's a bang.
The 308,000 includes 173,600 for the truck. 120,000 for the snow package or a plow package installed. Has a 7-year engine warranty, which is 5,600. Truck warranty for 7 years is 4,200. Transmission warranty for 7 years is 2,000.
You bought one of these?
Yeah. For these trucks, you definitely want them.
Yeah.
They are very expensive to repair.
And that's based off of historical use of these trucks and how many times they break down and they're repairing. So we're keeping them for 7 years. So we do the 7-year warranties. It takes it beyond what do the manufacturers do? Is it 1 year now or do they?
Truck warranties are a little different. It depends on if you're talking like it broke down there with the engine, the transmission, etc. Yeah, you're lucky to get 3 years from the manufacturer. If you want anything beyond that, you pay for it.
Yeah.
And I can promise you that for a repair bill, a truck like that, they are, you're talking $5,000 on minor stuff, and they add up fast.
And 3,000 for tariff. So a total is $308,139.
Just for the dump truck.
That's just for the
That's
dump.
all, right?
Well, for the package, but
Yeah.
that one truck, yes.
Yeah.
Right.
And then the 350s, which is the 1 ton, and before that's replacing a three-quarter ton, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is you're going with a Ford at 73,000. That's for the 1 ton truck. Okay.
Yeah, we're good.
There, just one more question.
Sure.
Is the dumb body aluminum or steel?
It's a painted steel body.
Okay.
Currently, we have been in stainless steel. Based on the longevity of the truck. And the body, they sell it to you as a stainless steel body. The floor and inner body are regular mild steel. So even though they look great on the outside, after about 7 years, you're replacing the inside of the body. It's not really gaining you much. And resale value because of that. It doesn't warrant the stainless.
Now, when you told me that previously, I was surprised to hear that because we bought that stainless steel body for that purpose for longevity, and then you find out that the bed or the floor is carbon steel. Any other discussion, comments? That includes Zoom participants. Hearing seeing none, we'll call for the vote, starting on my left. Doug Johnston.
Aye.
Christie Moore says aye. Tara Chase.
Aye.
Mike Schmidt.
Aye.
Heather Fram.
Aye.
That is 5 in the affirmative, and so approved. Thanks for coming in this evening to talk about trucks. Yeah. Item number 7,
I'm gonna give you some information here and then I'll give a little background on systems.
This is police department cameras.
Police department.
Thank you.
So we have 2 systems currently in the PD that are currently operating. One operates on our cars, one operates on our body cameras. The cars is WatchGuard, I believe is the name. And the body cameras are Patrol Eye. My understanding from talking with the chief is the car system is not operable at this point in time, and they're still having some issues on the Patrol Eye with body camera system as well. Axon is a name that I'm sure most of you have probably seen or heard if you ever see any of these first person video types of activities on television. There's typically an Axon logo on these video snippets. So Axon is pretty much a fair standard for these types of law enforcement activities. Any of our use of force or other types of situations where this kind of evidence is critical in any of those situations, but because of the current system being unreliable, Axon does offer an opportunity to standardize to their body system as well as their in-car system. And then they do storage in the cloud as part of that process. And they also have a 10-year contract that goes with this. So that's why these numbers look as large. The first year cost would be $14,000 for the implementation. And then you can see in future years, based on what we're paying for maintenance and annual costs, it goes up from $16,912 to $33,825 and 27. And then that continues on into the future with a slight increase for basically a slight cost of living charge. So the total contract price, when you start to look at this, gets rather large, which is why I wanted to bring it back to the board. Typically, I don't, get involved in the specifics of the type of equipment that the PD is operating with, but since this has such a long life, I wanted to make sure that everybody was understanding what we were going to do and also understanding that this will be something that you'll see in budgets going into 20, what's the last payment, I think, on this payment, and 30. So that's why I wanted to bring that specifically to the board's attention. Like everything else, these systems are also cost sensitive and sensitive to price increasing. So by locking in, at least you're guaranteed what you are at the current costs. They are not, for whatever reason, there doesn't seem to be a lot of additional players in this space. And so sometimes you can think, well, competition over time will drive down prices, but in this situation, I think it's such a specialty type of area. I'm not sure we're going to see a lot of new competitors entering into this space. Axon's been a name, and Doug probably can tell you from his past experiences in police work, it's a fairly standard for this type of camera equipment. So I think it's something that's in our best interest to lock this in and go forward with, consolidating with one vendor and making sure that both of our in-car systems and our body systems are fully operational and functional and providing the real protections. Quite frankly, I find cameras to be real beneficial in terms of sorting out situations with interactions that the cameras don't lie. So you can get a really good sense of what happens in something if there is a confrontation or a problem, as opposed to, when the cameras aren't available, there's all sorts of other interpretations. And this is really a protection for us and our officers and ultimately our liability by making sure that these systems are up to date operating. The cloud-based access is also, I think, critical because in the past, a lot of this data would reside on hard drives or on systems within the PD itself. And there have been instances where those servers have failed or the hard drives don't back up properly and you've lost data. This kind of stuff is critical when we're developing our casework that we have to present to the state's attorney. You know, everybody now wants all the video, they want all the radio, they want, you know, a full range of information prior to anything that goes forward through the judicial system. So this is a key piece of that as well.
So that 338, roughly 338,000, a 10-year program,
Yes.
and you explained the payout, so I appreciate that. Thank you. Any further discussion from board members regarding the proposal before we put it on the table?
Just some questions.
Sure. Doug?
The only, one of the concerns I have when you go with a company that has everything in the cloud, what happens after the 10-year mark? And you want to get your data back because you're going somewhere else. And that is a concern.
Well, my understanding of the data is anything that you put into that, I think it goes to evidence.com, I believe is where it ends up going. You own your data, so you can transfer that to another location in the cloud or other storage type if there's in fact somewhere that we have to move to 10 years from now.
Okay.
Because at this point, I don't know what, you know, data storage capabilities are gonna be 10 years from now.
Is there a limit on the amount of the data you can
No.
store, or it's unlimited?
It's unlimited.
And I hope there's a aspect where it's easy to, the program's easy to research to get a specific piece of data that you're looking for.
My understanding is that this is much easier to search and it's much easier to manipulate than the older systems were. Where it was on a hard drive, it was, you know, much more difficult, I think, sometimes to do inquiry, do database searching and to get specific case-related data. This one, I think, is much more, they've progressed, I think, in how they handle that type of inquiry. So I think it's much easier to do that. And it does come with all the training and required responsibilities for all of that. So, obviously it'll be a change. You know, every new system has its,
Oh, yeah.
you know, has its you know, they'll definitely have to go through a process to bring this up to speed. But this, I think, will put us in a good place. And ultimately, like I said, it's a key piece of modern policing because there is a huge amount of, I think the public expects to have that kind of information. Certainly the state's attorneys and other folks that do our casework expect that kind of detail when we're presenting things to them that might be going through the judicial system. So having a system that's modern, up to date, integrated, and also available so that we can get data to folks when it's necessary, I think is really kind of critical to the police force operating, you know, as effectively as we can.
No, thank you, Mr.
Any other informational questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Are we making a motion to commit to this
Just to
new
get-
program?
Yes, so that we can sign the contract,
Okay.
authorize the contract.
I'll make the motion to authorize the town manager to sign the contract with Exxon.
I'll second. So we do have a motion and seconded to authorize the town manager to enter into a contract with Axion for a total price of $338,256.30. That's over 120 months, so it's a 10-year program.
Yes.
And is there discussion from board members?
would this provide a camera for each individual? Or are they're sharing them now, I believe, aren't they, in the,
There's a quantity amount listed.
Yeah.
I think it was 18.
Yep.
okay. And we currently have funding in the budget to cover this, and is there any possibility of getting grants? I know there's a list of grants that just came out, I don't know if any of them apply for this type of.
I have
thing.
not seen anything specific to body cams or anything, you know, I've seen them for the best programs, I've seen them for other, you know, with the passive programs that we can get 10,000 for various, you know, related activities, but I have not seen anything specific to body cams, but I'll take one more look before we sign it. Definitely.
Other discussion from board members? Comments from the audience? Oh, there's some hands up.
Auburn Gardner. How ironclad is this contract if you decide 3-4 years down the road that this isn't working?
There are performance standards that they have to meet. So there are, you know, there's abilities to, if they're not performing, to get out of the contract without penalty. And they do have to meet standards. So there are definitely considerations, because again, these things are very time sensitive for speedy trial and other reasons. So this data has to be transmitted and available. Otherwise, cases don't go forward. And so it's really, really important.
Dan?
Does this include audio that can be used for, noise enforcement of a motor vehicle?
I don't believe there's a decibel reader on this. You typically have to, if you're going out to do noise enforcement, you have to have some sort of device. These don't have a device that registers, you know, specific decibels. So there is a handheld unit you can take out and actually do readings with.
Other comments? Including Zoom participants? Not hearing or seeing any. I'll call for the vote. Starting on my left, Doug Johnston.
Aye.
Christie Moore says aye. Howard Chase.
Aye.
Mike Schmidt.
Aye.
And Heather Fram.
Aye.
That is 5 in the affirmative, and we're underway. Financial reports. Oh, you got a tray full.
Box full of papers.
So, yeah.
Gee, that's.
So, there's copies on the website, and those are interesting.
Yeah, I guess we're not reading all of them, do we?
There's summary pages on, when you first go in, you'll see what the expenditures are, if there's something that catches your eye. And then you'll notice some of them are payroll, which is typical every pay period. If you want to take a few minutes to get versed with them, I'll let you do that while we move into the town manager's report.
Yeah, right. You bring your brand. Anywhere special in line here?
No. Yep, 5 lines there, so help yourself. Want to start in on the manager's report?
So while Doug's signing away, a couple of things. First of all, we did get, and I put it in your packets, some updates from the ordinance committee. They're still working through the rewrite of the current ordinance review. So they had hoped to have something to us in your March meeting. Obviously, they're not going to make that. So they've asked for some additional time up through May 7th. So the work is progressing. It's been, I think, they've been working really hard. They've been meeting weekly, not more than twice, sometimes twice in a week. But it just takes time to get through all of the information and make sure that they've got it up to date. So that report will come back to you. You should see something
One,
like
one at a time.
that.
That'll be fine, thanks.
The other items that I included, it was really more for discussion purposes, the Black River Action Team. The Cemetery Commission have talked about changing the standards when we do grass mowing. There's some environmental reasons for that. I did include some of their literature in your packet. What they recommend is that typically we'll mow to 2-inch height. Their recommendation is a 3-inch height. There's a whole why that's healthier for lawns. The flip side of that, and something that the board needs to be aware of, is if we do go forward with that type of a program, the grass obviously is taller when it's cut. It does grow faster. And so you might get some complaints from people about, geez, why is the grass always long? So it's an aesthetic versus environmental argument. I don't have a strong feeling in terms of does it make sense or not make sense. I just don't want us to get into, continuing commentary from public about doing our job in public spaces if we decide to adopt this as a standard. So I wanted to sort of bring it to your attention, get a sense of what the board feels. And certainly if we can, it's not anything that we need or have to do. I think it's really a question of, how would you like to proceed with this potential proposal?
Oh, Mike.
Comment question. Again, as a very avid gardener, and I apply to the 3-inch rule in my own home.
Okay.
I also know that my lawnmower sometimes struggles to be at 3 inches. Is our equipment capable of doing that? I don't want to come out and say, we're gonna mow at 3 inches and we can't do it, and then we're.
Yeah,
where are we going?
that is not a concern. I think I'm just more concerned about the feedback that you might be getting. If we decide to go this route, it's gonna take some public education for people to understand we're not being lazy and we're not neglecting these spaces. We're just making an effort, right? And, be more environmentally sensitive, and it might not be as aesthetically pleasing to some people. But frankly, that's really the argument. And people do get upset about cemeteries, if you well know. So just trying to get ahead of this before the Facebook pages explode with all sorts of fun comments.
That's the cemeteries that have grass.
Yeah.
Dirt.
Yeah.
There are some that have some sand. But we've been working on that over the years too, so.
Like I said, I don't have a particular strong point of view. I just, in these kinds of situations, I just need to have the board be aware, and you guys are very well aware of how some of that feedback might come.
Is there? I know I say this all the time, but is there an educational, public awareness ventures, social media postings, town
Well, I believe
website?
both of the organizations that I did that have some feedback in here would be part of that education campaign. I would assume cemetery folks would try to get information out so people were aware, as well as, Black River Action Team, and put some stuff on our website. As we're all aware, our outreach sometimes doesn't always reach people.
Correct, yeah.
Where they are, so they do find us if they are concerned. There are other ways, and sometimes they'll find you guys individually, depending on where you are, what you're doing. So.
Somebody's name is missing as well.
9.
Yeah, that would be my only concern, just to protect the phone calls from coming in, is if we can advertise this a little bit and post it or something, and.
We will definitely need public education.
Yeah.
I think it's worth trying, and like I said, if feedback is so negative, it's probably something that we evaluate and say, I don't know if this is, is worth the aggravation, let's be honest. you know. And that could be if we have a really wet spring and we don't get into those long rotations. And the grass starts to get long, we're gonna hear about it anyway. Whether we have a 3-inch rule or 2-inch rule, the weather really dictates as to how much we're gonna be able to. Keep these places really maintained and up to speed. And everybody's aware that Memorial Day and 4th of July, we tend to get a lot of folks who are, you know, taking a look and making sure that things are up to stuff. So.
Yeah. Well, that's a good point. Perhaps as we approach Memorial Day, we could maybe make it 2.5 inches or so.
Work our way up.
Yeah. So that it looks, people are more used to, or can see what they're more used to and.
Yeah, we could certainly try to stage this and see how it goes.
Barb?
I just wanted to say on behalf of the cemetery commission, one commissioner was approached by this, so the cemetery commission has not yet met as a board.
Yeah, they haven't formally
Right.
recommended.
Done anything
Right.
formal, they don't, organize first meeting until I go on.
Is that something that they'll have a conversation about?
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, we can start the rumor and see what we run into for a process, but.
Okay. Rumor has started.
Maybe you'll have, what's that?
Yeah,
We're probably next on the list.
yeah, you guys are a little different though, in some of your, sports fields.
Yeah, well, I'm
This
not
wouldn't
thinking
work.
Sports, I'm thinking regular.
Sure.
Laws around schools. and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
So, let me know how it works.
Yeah.
You could join in with us if you'd like.
I
We
can
could all do
volunteer
this,
for anything.
we could all do this together, I think, happy family. We'll report back as.
I will forward it to see when that goes.
Yeah, let Peter know, I'm sure. I'll do this list. So that was the one item, you know, the other thing is there is some updated language. We're working on the crossover, like with the, transfer of land around the correctional facility, so there is some, it's up front of the committee. And we will keep you informed as this goes forward, so.
Yeah, my only concern, and I think I emailed you on that, was the road access and.
Right.
I was just told, this past Friday night that the state spends $120,000 a year up there to Bear Roads policy, so. If we're somehow gonna assume ownership of the road, if we ever get to that point. There might be some concerns there from highway.
I've spoken to the commissioner, we have a long way to go.
Okay, yeah, perfect.
Into the road. Yeah,
It's a long road to go.
long road.
Any questions on the town manager's report, either raise the blade or the state correctional facility transfer?
The ordinance committee, there was a recommendation, asking the select board move to extend the deadline for submission of the proposal land use development ordinance and supporting documents to May 7th. I would like to make a motion
Oh,
that
good
we
to go.
accept
Yeah.
that.
It's beautiful.
And I was like, just to put it formally.
And Mike,
So
I'll make that motion.
there is a motion to extend the planning commission's date for, ordinance review committee's date for, review of, the town plan, right?
I'll second that,
Chapter
as
5.
long as we're in legal
Charter.
compliance.
yeah, there's no jeopardy.
Okay, so I second.
Any discussion from board members on that?
Just to thank you.
A little early to discuss it on my part.
You signed up.
Well, that's right. As of,
You're
what,
welcome for more.
half
time.
hour ago.
Any comment from the audience on that? Still a long ways, I think, from beginning to end. Thank you for that. So we'll call for the question then. Starting on my left, Doug Johnston.
Aye.
Christy Moore says aye. Tara Chase,
Aye.
Mike Schmidt,
Aye.
and Heather Fram.
Aye.
That is 5 in the affirmative and so approved. Date extension. Yeah. Very good. Highway. Committee reports. Oh, no, hang back up. I gotta go up one. Future agenda item proposals. Doug, this is the point, you've heard it before.
Yeah.
Any future agenda items that you'd like to
Well,
consider?
I think we need to keep our eye on the ball here as far as the federal government goes, because I think they're starting to look at different earmarks for the next budget session. And I know we weren't able to get anything, and I see a few of the towns got some things out of the last one, so I think it'd be, we
Yeah,
have to be
we're
prepared.
working with SRDC on specifically.
Okay.
Relates to Park Street, so we're hoping to have something in April that we can bring forward.
Would it be
Discuss.
possible if we got 2 or 3 projects to submit 2 or 3 of them? And
Well, some
hopefully
of them
get
turn it
one?
around, like Senator Welch's office had theirs up for like 48 hours.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So
because I applied for the chamber and it was already too late.
apply on a Friday, it was rejected by Monday.
Yeah,
I did the same thing. So we've got we're hoping that we have a couple of options with Senator Sanders' office, so we're hopeful. But anyway,
and Balin's already closed as well.
Is
so,
Balin's
yeah.
closed.
I don't have anything for a future agenda item, Tara.
I do not right now.
Nothing for futures.
Good. Heather, you got anything for future agenda items?
I do not.
Very good, thank you. Next is committee reports and announcements. You got anything to report on for the ordinance committee?
no.
you may say.
Yeah.
I'm just jesting with you a little bit, but, Tara,
Springfield on the Move has the Easter egg hunt on April 4th up at the Commons at 11 o'clock. No, it's for all families. Come on down, Barb.
Mike?
Yes, I have been invited, April 30th to, attend a meeting with the governor and the secretary of, transportation up in Montpelier to discuss, community support for airports. Springfield has been recognized as one of the outstanding communities supporting their local airport. And they want us to come and talk about it. There will also be a coffee with the legislators in the morning to
Thank you.
further that conversation. So I'm was honored and I'm excited to promote Springfield Airport.
Right.
Great, yeah, excellent, thanks. Heather,
Nope, nothing, thanks.
very good.
Steve, do you have something?
Thanks, Tara, for
Sorry, Christy, I just didn't want to forget.
more information on what our next vote will be.
I was going to ask you that under citizens' comment, but no, that's fine. Thank you for that. I wasn't ignoring you completely. The vote has been established as May 7th.
May 5th.
May 5th, May 5th. The
May
Tuesday.
5th,
That was quick.
5/5.
May the 5th, Cinco de Mayo, yeah.
It's in that report I gave you from the superintendent.
Yeah. And thank you for your hard work on that, by the way. Very good. Also in our packets, the select board does receive other minutes and correspondence, and this week we received the library April calendar, the January 14th library minutes, the February 19th trustee of public funds minutes, February 21st conservation committee agenda, March 4th ordinance committee draft minutes, March 10th housing authority draft minutes, March 11th library trustees agenda, and March 24th the inclusion committee agenda. And those, like I say, the select board does receive copies in their packets. Hard copies available at the town manager's office, and they should be available on the website. We're at that point in the agenda where we'll open it up for citizens' comments. Starting on my left, Mr. Carafa.
I have nothing to say.
Thanks for being here tonight. It is much appreciated.
Our schedule's now, I think it was over.
We're past the budget.
Tara can attend our meetings and we don't attend yours.
Yeah.
Awesome. Dan,
I'm here with a few questions about Wall Street again. The first one has to do with the Wall Street one-way project. The implementation of, the ordinance, which, at the beginning of December declared section of Wall Street to be one-way. My observation on the way down here is that, it is still two-way effectively. I'm wondering what has happened in the last month to bring this forward.
Well, we just finished plowing snow last week, so we did order plastic barricades to replace the mafia blocks that are up there now. So we can do something a little more, I think it'll be easier for us to put together the one-way pattern. So I'm not sure if they're all in yet, Ben. I don't want to order.
They were supposed to be in Friday to get them.
Okay. As soon as those come in, we're gonna replace those large ones, these or easily moved units, and I think then we'll be able to put up signage and get the thing more appropriately implemented.
So you see that the sidewalk project is tied to the one-way project?
The sidewalk project. This is just to be able to get some of that, it creates more space up there, and then we can also put some signs on these plastic. On these plastic dividers, be able to hopefully get drivers to start to honor the changes that were made back in December.
So will some of those be placed at Reed Street? To let the people know that there's something ahead?
We'll have to do a whole sign package with that, yeah, because there's multiple places where people can jump in and out.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, the next question has to do with the sidewalk, it's barricaded by the jersey barriers, the 8 jersey barriers. You're saying those will be replaced by plastic ones?
Yes, so the ones that you can put either sand or water in them, so they still are fairly pure, but they're not as wide and they don't take up as much room, so there'll be more room.
Will they prevent people from using the sidewalk?
I don't think so. There's enough room.
Because right now, the way the barriers are,
Right,
they completely prevent the
Right,
use of the sidewalk.
right. Those are much heavier and have a wider base. These have a much smaller base. So there should be some room there.
So these will be essentially along the curb and they'll separate the sidewalk from the street?
That's the goal.
Okay, now. The so-called Wall Street sidewalk project that I asked you about separately from the one-way. Is a project that I was told was gonna be after the Middle Street sidewalk. Which was done in maybe 2022. And the town manager said that there was a delay in the Wall Street sidewalk project because of sewer work that was gonna be done there. But in November, it was determined that the sewer work would not interfere with the sidewalk. They were gonna bore under an existing sewer and do a slip line. So they were not gonna be digging up the sidewalk there.
Right.
So that meant, according to the people I talked to, that the sewer project was no longer holding up the sidewalk project.
Well, we haven't done any of the bidding yet for the sidewalk money that just got approved at town meeting. So we did have $100,000 of an article that was approved.
Well, there's one also approved last year and the year before that.
Right.
So you have 300,000.
But I believe that other money was spent.
I'd like to see that.
Sure.
Okay. So,
But as far as I know, it wasn't dedicated to Wall Street specifically, but.
I don't know, but I haven't seen any other sidewalk activity,
Okay.
rebuilding going on, and that's dedicated to sidewalk reconstruction. You also have the pavement article that deals with the road plan and quote, duly warranted sidewalk projects. And I'm wondering, what does the word duly warranted mean? Is that a legal? Is that a legal requirement that
No,
the sidewalk project be put on a warrant in order for that article to be?
it doesn't have any specific legal binding.
No,
No.
okay.
And the board will have to approve any of the sidewalk projects that we put forward. So
That,
we'll develop a list that they should see that. Once we award the paving contracts, which is usually, we have our paving contract up for bid now. Once those bids come back, we'll see where we are in terms of finances. And then the next one to go out will be sidewalk.
Now, does it have to wait till then for the engineering work to be done on the sidewalk project? Or is the engineering work going ahead now? I understood that Everett Hammond was working on that.
Yes, he's been working on some sidewalk preparation. He's also doing the paving bids as well, so we'll get together with Everett here shortly when we get our bids back. I think we opened up bids in first week of April on paving. And we'll talk about sidewalks and start that process then, then finalize that and put that one out to bid next.
I'd like to look at the items that are on that sidewalk project list.
Sure.
To see whether, I walk that sidewalk quite a bit, and I'd like to make sure that certain things are in there.
so on the paving article, that warrant article for paving,
Yeah,
the 1,100,000.
right, that one.
The reason they stuck sidewalks in there duly warranted is because if they're replacing a stretch of road somewhere and they have to do the sidewalk, that would be appropriate use.
Well, and they should have done that when they repaved Wall Street.
Dan, we have, miles and miles of paved roads and miles of sidewalks, and there's not enough money to do it all. You know that.
Challenge with maintenance. We're working on trying to knock that list down. We're hopeful that we get good prices. So far, the bidding environment's been fairly productive, so I'm feeling.
Probably wasn't good, too good last week, and maybe it's better this week. Oh, my
The
gosh.
IT contract bids came back with good prices, so.
Barb?
Oh, I was just gonna help the town manager out. He probably doesn't know, but last year there was not enough for.
Yeah.
So there's not.
Oh.
It's skipped a year.
Maybe you're wrong.
We've seen it a lot, but it wasn't in 25.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
It doesn't seem to be in the capital budget.
Yeah, you're in the broken fires right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask you about that, because nobody brought it up.
I can't look from the ballot to the budget and see where the money is connected. In other words, that article that had, was just 100,000 for the sidewalk. Is that a spend it or lose it deal, or is that funded? And I don't see a fund in there that's got that in it.
Well, it's a revenue as of July, as of the budget year. There'll be $100,000 line.
Right, and those in previous years also. And
I'd have to go back from up to see. what-
Some of that, we did North Springfield a couple of years ago, or 3 years ago, whatever it was.
2 years.
2 years ago. 3? 2. 2 years ago, so that consumed a lot of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, 100,000 doesn't go long for.
Not for a sidewalk.
unfortunately. But. If they have ADA compliant.
Yeah.
And all the other associated requirements, it goes fairly quickly.
Yeah, exactly. Other citizens, like, you came this evening and you don't have a question? Or?
No, I came to hear about the ordinance meeting, extension. I've been attending their 3 to 4 hours. They're doing an awesome.
Yeah.
Well, those guys are wonderful. They're really out there
They're
thoughtful.
working through a lot of
A
material.
lot of stuff.
And,
A lot of stuff.
and I think if I student. Well, it's, you know, what I already said.
Is there anyone on Zoom this evening that would like to speak for citizens' comments? Not seeing any attempts to speak or hands up. Oh, there's one more. Whoa, we almost got out of here.
Oh, sorry. Under committees, it was brought to my attention that there's a name Springfield Middle Income Housing Committees. Is that something that's new?
That was a book committee that they put together to give a report board. I'm not sure that they wanted this standing.
It was
ad hoc.
Yeah,
I,
it's an ad hoc.
it was an ad
Heather's
hoc.
on that.
It was an ad hoc for like 9 months, and then we gave the report to the town manager with recommendations on next steps. And I am sure he's very active taking on those recommendations.
Where would one find those recommendations out of curiosity?
They were given printed, I believe, at one point they're on the website. I have to double check to see if it's still on. I think they
Yeah.
are.
Basically, there is not an easy solution. There's no easy solutions. It was recommended that we form a committee with experienced people that the town manager finds between developers, local construction workers, town landowners, to start coming up with some solutions for middle income housing, and then work also with outside developers, because as you know, the numbers don't work for middle income right now. We also wanted to do an audit of what's, vacant, what's owned by the town. I think there was about 5 recommendations, if I remember correctly, but it's posted somewhere on the town website.
Okay. Thanks. If there isn't any other attempts to speak, I think we've come to the end of the agenda, and I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'll second that.
Tara and Mike. So we do have a motion and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those
Aye.
opposed, say nay. I'll take that as an aye, Heather.
And it is on the town website. You can find
You
it.
found it?
Yep.
Oh, good. Thank you. Then we are adjourned at 7:58.
To order copies of this program, please call 802-885-6248. This program was created using equipment of SAPA TV. The views and opinions expressed in this video are not necessarily those of SAPA TV or its staff. Visit us online at www.sapatv.org. Thanks for watching.